And we're live. Ha! Only 3 minutes late due to technical difficulties. And you guys can only blame me a smidge. Thank you to everybody that has sat through the commercial. If you've gotten this far, welcome to our Thursday bill list stream, unfortunately. If you guys see anything wonky on the PNG or anything like that, let me know. We have Chris the cop is with us today. I believe he's to my north here. And
Hello,
then we
everyone.
have the ever so faithful and spelled Sean Sean below me, the Patreon sub. To anybody that wants to go and butcher the way to spell his name, go ahead and do it in the chat for us, and that'll make me
Please don't.
happy. If you guys want to go ahead and like this stream, like I said, it's our Thursday stream. We do a podcast. We do body cam breakdowns. So we have two advocates down here that are going to go be our normal little butthole selves, and then we have Chris to give us the administrative perspective. And so we're going to try to keep him from getting in trouble by saying too many weird things. Oh, hey, Alfredo's asking about your leg.
It's getting better. It's getting better. Uh, I may say something goofy. I'm going to blame the narcotics right now, so my administration can't hold me accountable for anything I may say.
I was on narcotics, prescribed narcotics.
I
Typical
should not have been
admin.
online anyways. You
so,
think I'm drinking
Typical
Dr.
admin.
Pepper, but it might be Dr. Pepper with a
oh
little bit
my
of
god.
whiskey.
So, anyways, again, for anybody that doesn't know, we're only cops. We go live twice a week. This is our Thursday stream, and on these, we break down body cam stuff and news stories that are law enforcement related. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and like this stream. It'll pump it out to more people that will want to watch this kind of stuff. Go ahead and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. Turn on the bell notifications, and it'll let you know every time we go live. Like I said, typically it's Tuesday and Thursday at about 7:30. Go ahead, and I'm gonna let Chris do a bit of a shout out to his own channel. He's a pretty cool guy, and he's been a pretty awesome advocate of the channel. And then we'll get started.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on this episode of With Only Cops. I was just happy to be invited. Right now I'm doing a little bit of healing on my own knee. I just had a little meniscus surgery the other day, so I am a little bit loopy, a little bit in pain, but I'm just glad to be here and to actually, I think this is going to be my first breakdown ever on any channel. So I'm actually kind of excited to give my perspective. And as Josh said, I'm going to be giving you the admin pogue. Hold it down. We'll be utilizing my time as an admin and internal affairs to give you the perspective of what the department will be looking at and not looking at on these different scenarios.
Okay, so normally this is where
Now
I
we
turn
really
over
have
to-
IA in the chat.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and get started. Normally, this is where Bill takes over, but I have to pilot this on my own. Oh, also, Bill, nothing's wrong with Bill. Bill is off having a social life. So, I post COVID, or I shouldn't have said it. I already said it out loud. We're demonetized, but I'm just now getting over a serious illness, and so if I cough or anything like that, I'm sorry. I'm going to. I have this tea is called throat coat. Um,
I'll just leave that one alone.
So we'll let you guys' imagination
For the
go.
throat goat.
That's how you got sick. But anyways, we'll get to our first little video here. So the way these things work, and this is just for Chris, we watch these things and we can kind of pause. If you want me to pause at any time, let me know, and I'll go ahead and click it to pause. Let me know that you guys can hear it, and then everybody in the chat, if you guys hear any issues or whatever, just let us know. We're gonna get started. This is from Police Activity on their Instagram. Go give them a follow. I don't think there's any audio here. But basically, and I'm reading this while y'all get to kind of see it. I don't know if this was a DWI or not, but this guy goes and nails a patrol car here. And by nail, he is trying to pass it, and he rubs up against it. The guy ends up, I guess, getting stuck here. He backs up, and then you can kind of see his little taillights
Someone
here.
just 901 into me, Charter, and I'm 5, in the unit. He's taking off.
Was he drunk on duty? My guy. Probably. It would be like Chris
Sounds
in the
like
car
it.
right now.
Right.
Probably just annoyed. Also, shout out. That's a write-up. That was a fleet, and he's leaving.
Sorry, 33, you fled westbound Charter. I lost visual. I don't know if he hit the freeway. If he goes by the CHP.
CHP, this is in your dictatorship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I could. Let's see. Oh, San Joaquin County. Yeah.
Yankee 45.
Golly, this guy's taking off.
Yeah.
What is this, a LeSabre?
Yankee
What is
45.
this? Does it say what kind of car it is? This looks like a LeSabre.
It does.
It's automatic
look like
PC.
Vehicle below the red light at Fresno and Charter going westbound, almost to the bridge now.
Jeez, he's cooking it.
350 could buy the CHP, and yes, Wanda is 481 and probably 502.
But I tell you what, CHP is not the ones you want arresting you. I'll tell you that right now. Not in California, bro. They will.
Yeah.
Hands up! 19 is ramming me. He's ramming me.
Copy.
19 shot fire.
You know what I just realized, Chris? So
What's
we were
that?
going over these to make sure Chris wouldn't get in any trouble. I just realized he has a canine in his vehicle.
He does.
He can't leave the vehicle, or he can't just say screw it, it's just my car. He's got to
Protect his dog.
he's got to technically protect his dog. So I was having this conversation with Chris earlier about well, it's a fleet at that point, and currently as it stands with him reversing into a vehicle, it's a fleet. However, this guy's got open pasture in front of him to run. And so if I were articulating this as a use of force, let's say I'm the shooter here, right? I not only have my animal that I have to be an advocate for, and I'm deemed responsible for him, and this is cruelty to an animal, at least in Texas, is a felony. But I also have someone that has options, like driving away from me and things like that. He's not doing that. He's intentionally ramming his vehicle into mine, which is aggravated assault all day long. Articulating him leveraging that weapon, which is the car, against me to try to do reasonably serious bodily injury to myself or to my dog. I think deadly force would be justified, specifically in those set of circumstances. I think that's how I'd be justifying this if this was my use of force. I think his backstop, I can't really see it terribly well here, but it looks like a big old open field, so I guess it's not the end of the world. But this guy looks like he could have kept going. I think it saw that there was a police officer behind him, and he decided to kick it in reverse and nail it.
Well, before we watch this, my thing was, when you showed it to me initially, I didn't see the ramming. When you initially showed me,
Yeah.
Looking at the ramming, he full on rammed him to the point that you see the whole car go back. At that point in time, obviously we don't know what's in the officer's mind, but look at that. That's okay. So the officer right there could have got hurt. It looks like in fact, something happened with his gun.
Yeah.
He's grabbing it, and then something happens. He gets hit, and then he's putting the gun in his weak hand.
Yeah.
And it goes back to his strong hand again.
Well, you can kind of see too. This is where his trunk got kind of dicked up here from probably hitting the push bar, but he had to hit it pretty hard to move up. And I think that's a Tahoe.
He floored it.
Yeah.
That patrol car that door, depending if that door is a
reinforced
ballistic door, that could have come back and hurt him. But it's obvious the door hits him. It's always that door swings back and hits him.
And see, the reason why he's bringing up these, so this is, and this is kind of why we have these discussions, and why I really like these breakdowns, is it's not as easy an equation as people make it out to be in a use of force scenario. And I talk about this a lot when I talk to people about concealed carry as a civilian, and I was like, there's so much you have to know, and know it immediately. You just have to, and part of this is practicing it mentally, and part of this is just having experience doing use of force. Prior to becoming a law enforcement officer, I used to carry a gun every day in Texas, and you got your CHL back in the day, back before constitutional carry, and you could do it anywhere, right? Well, mostly. But I never had a use of force experience. And so doing it as a police officer, and now on the back end, recognizing when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate, a lot easier now for me because I've done it. If that makes any sense. I did it probably too many times, to be honest. But in this specific situation, it's all of those little things. Literally, if any of those, let's say he just nudged him, this makes this a horse of a different color. Let's say he's blocked in, right? Let's say this guy's got nowhere else to go and he's reversing, and then he happens to see him and you see him apply the brakes or something like that. There's so many of these little slivers that can get you hung up on the back end. And it's really, IA on the back end is going to do this. The DA's office is going to look at this. Again, possible civil liability issues in the back end are going to look at this. But you, as a law enforcement officer that are figuring out how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to articulate it, these are the things you need to be talking about. Because even if you have it being justified as it is, if you just said, I saw the car going backwards, so I shot at it, if that's what your report read, and that's the only thing that's going to be admissible in court is that's going to be a lot harder. You're sticking your command staff in a much harder place to defend your actions than it is if you sat there and went through the saying this person had an avenue of escape and chose not to take it. They put their car in reverse and had enough distance to gain speed. They struck my vehicle with the intention, I believe, to cause harm to both me and my animal. I was already exiting the vehicle, so it's not like he was just striking me in the vehicle. I was half out of it by the time he hit me. My vehicle's large enough to do damage to me. I wasn't really given any option to do anything else. I wasn't going to allow this person who's already struck vehicles prior to me and might potentially cause harm to a third party. I leveraged deadly force action. You have to articulate it like that because so often you'll see on the back end, and this is kind of the downside to not having a slightly higher education requirement with law enforcement or just time taken in academy to teach kids how to write reports. And both of them
English comp.
Yeah, like both of them have supervisory experience that I didn't have, but like I would hear it a lot with command staff that they would bitch about how reports came up the because they're like, what the hell is this report? They'd watch the body cam and like you don't like talk about half of the shit that happened that I can clearly see on your body cam. So it's important. Report writing's crazy important. And even
I mean, unfortunately, with like the best articulation, the climate in law enforcement nowadays,
I agree.
I'd say like 70% of the admins throughout the entire United States won't, if you articulate it to the best of your ability, they still aren't going to have your back. So like, and I think that's why a lot of officers are getting worried about getting into use of forces to begin with.
Sure.
And this guy must be, he must know that his admin and his DA has his back. But unfortunately, like the agency I work for, I would probably throw a pillow at this guy and still get written up.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think administrations are going to have to change on top of training requirements. It's a dual-edged sword. Like if you teach us how to write and articulate, we need to know that you're going to have our back if we know what we did is good. So,
oof.
Yeah, on this one, unfortunately, because it's California, California now has the Attorney General that, as of 2022, will investigate all police officer involved shootings. So now, not only do you have your department investigating it, and probably the county sheriff investigating it, as well as the local DA investigating it, the Attorney General has been charged now with investigating all police officer shootings in California. So now there's another set of eyes on that. And it just sucks, though, because once again, we could sit here and we could look at this video and we could break it down because we have seconds to, we could watch it, we could replay and stuff like that. But I have to go with Josh on this, is that, if with the proper articulation, because my other part of this too is watching the pre-video of this where the guy's doing 100 miles an hour through intersections blowing reds, he can kill someone.
Sure.
I mean, no one's most definitely, and at this, that's what I'm going to articulate. I'm going to articulate that this guy could, well, first of all, in California, it's called a 245 assault with a deadly weapon. This guy just committed an assault with a deadly weapon on a peace officer. Mm-hmm. We also have an additional charge of 69 PC, which is causing injury to a peace officer as well, because I'm going to say this officer probably did get injured. Mm-hmm. And now we have 2 felonies, and this guy actually has no due regard. And like we always say, if you have no problem hurting a police officer, you're going to have no problem hurting someone from the general public. So letting this guy go is only going to get someone killed down the road. And everyone's going to say, why didn't the police do something before this guy was able to kill mom and dad, or the family en route to to get something to eat.
Sure. And it's that, and everyone always misses this when we have these discussions, or when these discussions happen in general. Law enforcement does have a duty to intervene. That's like the one thing everyone like forgets. Now again, and we were going to have this discussion later if someone's trying to hurt themselves, that's one thing. Or if someone's, destroying their own property. I've watched a divorced couple completely destroy their own house.
Right.
And I sat there, have y'all hit each other? And they said, no. Do you think you're going to hit each other? And they said, no, I can guarantee you right now we're not going to hit each other. And they are throwing stuff, not at each other, they're throwing stuff at the wall. And I was like, cool, do y'all feel safe if I leave? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, deuces. Because what am I going to do? And I had to call my sergeant and explain it to him. And he's like, all right, I mean, what were you going to do? You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't know, it is what it is. But
Well, also, too, the last thing in this officer's favor is this. At least in California, they haven't taken this away from us either. But in the penal code, it's codified that we do not have to retreat.
Yeah.
That is at least there for us as a California peace officer. Still, it's one of the last things we have left.
Yeah.
That we are not expected to retreat.
Well, and again, I think it's an unreasonable. If you have the duty to intervene, like, how do you have the duty to intervene and retreat at the same time? Like, it's a hard thing to reconcile. Especially, again, when you're in the defense of a third person or society at large. There's a lot of stuff that gets into that. Shout out to Napalm Bath. He said that that's his county.
Wow.
Juan's talking about people getting 69'd.
Because I said 69 PC.
That's what it is. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just addressing the chat real quick, just so I don't make sure I miss anything. Thank you, Sergeant George, for letting me know that we're loud and clear. And yeah, and if you guys have any questions about these clips, go ahead and put them in the chat so we can address them. And then, of course, if somebody throws a super chat and stuff like that, we'll go ahead and say it unless it's something egregious. Here is another one. This is from Police Post. It's a very common shout out. Go give them a follow on Instagram. A pretty huge account on there if you like police related content.
Why is that if I'm not under arrest? You gotta make sure you're detained is what it's called. You're not free to leave. We're still questioning you. Okay. On the call that we got. Okay. When the deputy gets here, he'll explain why, okay? Another deputy? Yep.
Yeah, we're waiting on somebody else. Turn around, put your hands behind your back first.
Do I have a warrant?
Yes, you do. Turn around, put your hands behind.
So I'm gonna be honest right now. So like, there's a reason I paused it right here. There was something that took me a long time to figure out when I was a new police officer on when it changed from going hands-on with somebody and like utilizing like force, if that makes, because there's a difference in between putting handcuffs on somebody and like, as we would say it, put a motherfucker on the ground and go throw hands with this guy. I did not realize I was in a fight 9 times out of 10 until I was already in it. And I'm holding on to them, and I was lucky that I had all of this hours of training in jiu-jitsu, so when my training kicked in, I could at the very least take a limb or two away from them. That was mine, and I would own it. But, like, on the back end, once I realized, hey, once you're in a fight, like, you're in a fight, go handle it before it gets out of control or becomes into a bigger mess than it needs to be. Right then and there, if you're telling somebody that they're going into custody and you're telling them to put their hands behind your back and you're going through the whole gesture of putting handcuffs on, and they do anything that's not putting their hands behind their back, especially if it's a active movement of resisting that, seizure of them, you need to go escalate force pretty quickly. And I'm not saying go power slam every single person that's resisting a handcuffing, but understand that if someone's motive...
Put a hand on them as fast as possible.
Yeah, as I had a PTO that said it this way one time, or it's an FTO for those that have that type of program. He said, "Don't pussyfoot it. Put the cuffs on him, boy." That's what he said. Yeah. And so, and this is why.
Get tased. Why you got a warrant. Put your hands behind your back.
What do I have a warrant for?
You're gonna get tased. Ah! Put your hands behind your back. Put your.
So I tell you right now, as much as he yelled, the fact that you can hear the clicking noise tells you that it's not making a connection. And it's anyone that's ever been tased, and we've been tased, everyone here that is a cop has been tased. When it's making a connection, all you hear is the little beeping. You don't hear the clacking of it, because what's happening is the taser's arcing. You're hearing the arc of the electricity, not creating a current through your body. So that first taser deployment did not work.
Put your hands behind your back!
Hands behind your back!
Also, taser slapping is not an approved use of force in most places.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask, is that going to be the new update in Ready or Not? Do we get a taser? Do we get a taser to slap people? So I just want to actually comment this on this one. That's a sergeant. That's a field sergeant who does that taser slap. If anybody's supposed to know about policy, it is that person right there. His responsibility is to keep his officers safe, and he did not do so. Number two, he failed to engage. I have a problem with that. He failed to engage. I'm a lieutenant. If I engage, something went horribly wrong with my day. Okay, and when I plan my day, but I still do. I mean, if I respond to something and the fight's on, I'm an officer first, and then I'm an administrator later. This guy should have helped to jump on this guy right off the bat. And also, too, he has his taser out, ladies and gentlemen. We don't know where taser darts go. So if this guy is still fighting, who the hell is he going to tase?
Yep.
He's going to end up tasing his fellow officers if he deploys that taser at that distance. So the guy's already showing he's a moron because he's like, oh, let me have my taser out. I mean, it's like the suspect has already decided he's not going to cooperate.
Yeah.
Okay. Warning him. Let me show you the yellow taser. Maybe that's going to do something. None of this is going to work, ladies and gentlemen. None of it. So, frustrating.
And kind of more to the point of kind of the reason he's saying that, and it's again, getting tased really sucks. But like the taser as a tool, and we talk about this a lot, and I'm growing a new hatred for Axon. Is that they make it out to be like a wonder machine. And that it's going to be your best possible chance at getting a successful, use of force or getting someone into custody if they're resisting. And it's really not. I mean, because technically, unless you're doing it under power and unless it works, and even then you only have like 5 seconds to do it. It's not a very precise weapon, if that makes sense, or device, and so like you don't know where the probes go. It kind of gives you like an idea with a little laser pointer. That's super inaccurate. If you ever go to, I would challenge anyone, and I want to start this hashtag now on like Instagram. Every time you have to requal with a taser every year, show what that target looks like. Like show where you're aiming, and then show where those probes end up from 7 yards away or wherever you're at, and they're all over the place. It is when you have 30 guys that are having to go and quite literally run a train on the stupid taser cartridge thing. It looks like it's just been shotgunned by taser probes. It's not a great tool. That being said, if he's on the ground, let's keep him there, and let's not, instead of standing there yelling at it with a taser in your hand, like contribute. That being said, there's probably not a lot of empty hand techniques throughout here, and it's kind of indicative that they went for a taser, and that's indicative of department training. So it's not necessarily just on that individual officer. You probably have a department that is not supporting having more empty hand skills and things of that nature. And this is what happens when you don't have empty hand skills and you rely on a taser to take someone into custody that resists.
Behind your back!
He runs. Oh, that's going to create some nausea here.
Stop now!
Right?
Still running.
Just stop now!
Still running. Oh, how did they get him? Oh, she was the least out of shape. Or the most out of shape, I guess. They tried to tase him again.
Yeah.
Look at this. I just want to show everybody this. This right here is a taser probe, and this right here is a this is how big the spread is when it's like point blank. He tried to tase this guy like from maybe a foot away. This is like a zero spread. And that jacket, I don't think it's like a Carhartt jacket, but this looks like just like a thicker jacket. That didn't go. The taser probes are maybe that long. The actual like pokey part of the probe, the barb, it's not very long at all. Like it didn't work. He stopped because he wanted to at this point.
Yeah, that's the other upsetting part is, like you said with Axon, is that they make it sound, you said it best, like this is the go-to. And what people don't realize, if you have any type of loose-fitting clothing, you're not going to get what you want.
Oh, and worse, he's got this jacket, he's got a long-sleeve shirt under that, and he's got a shirt under that.
Yeah,
There's no way that's working. So, I'm also a little irritated because as he walked up, he was standing there with the taser while they're handcuffing. You see this guy? There's one guy handcuffing. Oh, there's the old
And-
guy. Is it the sergeant? Hold on. I want to get mad
Probably, yeah.
again. Hold on.
Let's all stand around and watch the one guy take him
I
into
feel like
custody.
that's totally the sergeant. What a butthole.
They must not get a lot of action.
No.
You didn't have to run, dude. Right?
So glad that. How much you bet? You want to bet that Axon would consider that a successful deployment?
It would.
Probably.
Right, though? I feel like they would act like that's a successful deployment. I'm proud of y'all.
Well, all they look at is like taser deployment, person in custody.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Whatever happens.
I didn't think
between
about that.
is-
I didn't think about that. That's
Yeah.
probably exactly how they do it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh,
It's a win.
it's a win. Yeah, the sharp part of
Yeah.
the probe
Through
is
the
slightly smaller.
15-minute
than-
fight after the taser deployment, between
Jesus.
when it was deployed and when you 10-15'd them, like,
Dude, I don't know, man. Hey, shout out
taser
for
work,
shout
right?
out for the guy going into custody safely, and I'm glad no officers were injured except for their pride. What do we
yeah, and the
have?
sergeant's rank after that.
No kidding. Oh
Turn
my
those
god!
stripes in.
Turn those stripes. At least two.
I'd
of
be
them,
demoted so fast.
Oh, there's this one. Oof. Okay, it's the last one from Instagram. Shout out to Police Post again. Do we have any background story on this?
Yeah.
Well, they found that he was carrying drugs in his pockets. According to authorities, they did not see a small loaded pistol. So he gets arrested.
Well, so I would like to touch on
Downtown.
something right quick.
Yes.
So, Josh, I will do a $5 super chat right now if you can tell me the case law that has to do with a pat down and a fine for drugs. And I will tell you that it's not Terry v. Ohio.
I was going to say Terry v. Ohio, but
So
you said it's a
it
pat
stemmed
down
from
and
Terry
drugs?
v. Yeah, so after Terry v. Ohio happened in the Supreme Court, and it might be like a state case law. I read it somewhere, and I honestly
I'm not getting the $20, the
Can't
$5
remember.
super chat. So.
yeah, I'll find it again and I'll put it somewhere in the Discord. But so this officer after Terry v. Ohio happened.
Mhm.
Sorry, I can't talk today. He did a pat down on someone, and he felt what to him was drugs,
What kind of drugs?
right? I think it was like weed or meth or something like that.
Weed's a bit
But
sketchy.
apparently-
Feeling weed would be a bit sketchy.
Yeah. So like Terry v. Ohio states like
Drug
if you
dealer
pat someone down,
v. De Popo. Pretty
Yeah.
sure. I'm listening.
if you pat someone down and based on experience and training, you feel what is some sort of contraband,
Uh-huh.
then that's PC.
So it would have to be something
Right.
like a crack pipe. It'd have to be something fairly
Well-
obvious that it was something.
So apparently, and I can't remember the specifics. I shouldn't even open my mouth, but it's a good case to know.
Interesting.
That's why I'm gonna have to find it. But I'm gonna use it as an example. So like, let's say there was a Tic Tac box,
Sure.
right, in someone's pocket, and in the jurisdiction that you work, you have been getting a lot of drugs inside of some
Tic Tacs, yeah.
container like a Tic Tac box. So you're patting someone down and you feel what to you feels like a Tic Tac box, and you kind of shake it and there's no Tic Tacs in there, but it feels kind of solid. That's basically what happened. And this officer got a conviction on that because he did a Terry pat down, a Terry
Really?
frisk, and felt what to him felt like something that these druggies in his jurisdiction were using to conceal drugs,
So I guess
and he used it as PC and got a conviction. It's a super
Wow.
interesting case law to read. I'm gonna have to find it.
So
I'm so mad at myself I can't remember it.
So I normally and this is just my on my patrol experience, I was a very big, if I have it, I have it. If I don't, I don't kind of person. And so
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
I was not a fan of trying to figure out where the line was on PC. I liked to be like firmly with both of my feet. There was a lot of guys, and there's good cops. I don't want to say these are bad cops. There was some very good cops that were good with having their like toes on the line of like
Yeah.
right at the edge
There's
of what
a
PC
there's
is.
a difference
You know?
between being knowledgeable and being ignorant.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And
And these were all, like I
it's a
said,
fine
you
line.
get a guy that's come out of one of the guys that I had. He was 7 years undercover narcotics, and so like his interdiction case law knowledge was way better than mine.
Oh
And
yeah.
he could live a little closer to that line than I could. And it was mostly, again, it's patrol IQ and knowing how to articulate and how to move and shake to develop PC to do it. I think a lot of that comes down to individual experience and education on said case law. And,
Yeah.
and even just, it's not just
Yeah.
being exposed to it, it's understanding how to leverage it. He said, was it People versus Garcia? That's what he's asking.
I honestly would have to read the case again.
Damn, look at that. Anyways.
But what state was it? So the reason I asked, because in the background story it said that they did a pat down and found drugs, and like there's a huge
well, and
there's a huge like lapse in time where they did the pat down,
sure,
because a pat down is not a search for drugs, it's a search for weapons.
Agreed.
And they found drugs, so I just wanted to know where the connection was between the pat down and the drugs.
Yeah. Chris, how do you feel about pat downs?
You know what? I'm actually a big fan, and I think that if you can, you should be able to articulate your pat downs based upon, you know, obviously it changes from agency to agency, but you know, like for us, we say that, you know, I conducted an outer clothing pat down search for weapons, and an officer, not a boot, but one worth his
Not
weight
a boot.
can say hey, you know, based upon the area, you know, of high gang activity, gang member, people carrying weapons are known to store those weapons in baggy clothing, blah 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 blah. I think it's a great articulation. And my big thing is that, you know what, a good pat down search makes you safe and makes the officer safe, or makes the suspect safe and us safe. And people need to realize that that's all what it's about. Because if I can confirm this person has no weapons, we're good to go. You know.
Well,
Yep.
And I was about to say,
I think Chicago, if I worked in Chicago, every car I'm stopping, I'm bringing them out of the car and I'm patting them down.
well, and that was kind of a lot of times the way it was articulated for me was through safety. 9 times out of 10, if someone got even remotely squirrely with me, I would tell them. And again, I never asked if I could pat someone down. This is one of the things that I used to watch rookies do, and I was very lucky. I had very good field training officers. But they would ask, "Hey, can I patch?" But hell, no, you ain't ask. Either you're doing it or you're not, because either you have reasonable suspicion to believe they might be armed, or you don't. You know, or you're trying to do it for a safety reason, or you're not. There's no reason to ask.
Yeah. The only reason you ask "Can I?" is whenever you don't have PC to search.
Exactly, and again,
say "Can I search your person?"
Yeah, and a lot of times it's what I used to tell when we first started doing these. I was like, you can tell pretty quickly how experienced or inexperienced an officer is based on how much they're asking you for versus how much they're telling you to do stuff. And
exactly.
So, anyways, we'll keep going. We won't get too bogged down in this. So I'm muting it because it's a news story. This guy gets arrested. He is, or you always should be, searched incident to arrest. They did do some sort of search on him. There's a lot of clothing.
Yep.
You get a pretty thorough search before you get in the car with this much clothes. And oftentimes, unless it's super fucking cold, which probably is here.
Especially my car. Yeah.
I don't know. Was Hanson Park? I don't know where this is at. It might be cold.
I mean, it's in Chicago.
Oh, it's probably super cold then.
Yeah.
It's July in Chicago, though. Either way.
Yeah, and the officers are wearing short sleeves.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a jacket.
Either way,
pants.
I oftentimes would make him shed a lot of that clothing because it would take so long to search it. At the very least, I can secure it and get this guy into a car so that I can get the hell out of there. But that does give me a lot of heartburn. But I remember there was one time that in a detention I missed a screwdriver, and it bothered the shit out of me. And it was a detention. It ended up being an arrest, but somebody else went behind me. Anyways, once they get to the jail, this officer that had transported this guy to the jail, right here gets a gun to his face and gets shot at. I believe he survives. He fortunately had the wherewithal to roll. Some officers from inside the jail then started to engage him, and there's another officer this is actually the dash cam from the officer that was backing him up, engaged the guy. I don't know if they took this guy into custody or not. I'm not playing the audio for you guys because, like I said, it's a news story, and that's how they get us demonetized and kicked. But yeah, this is a shit situation. This is why searches. The only reason why I kept this in here, searches are super. Search incident to arrest means search incident to arrest. Search everything. Don't leave it up to chance. Like, it is not worth this.
And it makes me happy that screwdriver incident bothered you for a long time.
Oh, it was almost,
it needs to.
Yeah, it shook me, and I was like, I think it was my second year, or like I was like a year and a half on, like, or something like that. And I'd done a ton of searches, and I'd found stuff too. And that one, it just happened to be a quick frisk because we had detained the guy. And I think he ended up... No, I think he did get up and he ran. And then we got him. We pulled a screwdriver off him. And I was like, oh, shit. And unfortunately, nobody yelled at me. But I yelled at myself because I felt weird about it. But I vividly... Good. I will never forget that. I still remember to this day. That was a random call that wasn't even that important. Because there's just some idiot that ran from us. I think he failed ID.
Before you move on, I'm gonna give you a story that is very similar that I learned my lesson as well. So my partner and I, we responded to, I forget what the actual call was, but our gang team had gone to one of our local motels and had detained at least 10 to 12 people, everybody going to jail for felony vandalism. So I went to go pat down guys that were already sitting. They were all seated on a balcony. I went to go start patting people down because I was only on maybe a year or 2 years. So we were the boots. And the sergeant of the team says, "Oh, we already patted everybody down." All right. Bad thing, but listen to him. So I grab my body as I'm taking my body down to my patrol car. My partner and I were doubled up. I noticed that there's 2 people in back of our car already. And I'm like, what the fuck? So one of the guys walks over and he says, "I'll take your guy." And I said, "So, all right." So I give him my guy. So I start to go pull the guy out of the back of my car, and an officer walks up and says, "I already patted him down for you." All right.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. So we transport the guy to the jail, and we get him inside the jail. And as we're, of course, now we're all unarmed. And he had his sweats. You know how gangbangers will roll up their sweats? They have the long socks. And yes. So I start loosening up his sweats, and out of the sweats, and you hear the distinct sound of a firearm hitting the floor.
Jesus,
tink, tink.
Dude.
And our jailer walks up, who actually was an officer, and he picks up the gun, checks it, one in the chamber. And the officer who patted this guy down, this is what he does. It pissed me off. My partner wanted to go kick his ass. I had to grab my partner from kicking his ass. But he goes, "Oh, this is why you don't let canine handlers pat people down." Wow. And he fucking walked out of the room. That was his fucking excuse. Oh, and it pissed me off because it was like, you're still a cop. But that, and my FTO taught me, so you're transporting, you pat him down. Yeah. So that way, if you get killed, it's on you.
Yeah.
You do a shitty search, it's on you. And to this day, when you can hear, and I know we've all had people drop guns on you, but when you're in the jail and you hear that distinct sound of a firearm dropping on the jail, you're like, yeah, never forgot it. Sure. And even by telling you the story right now, I get that.
I bet to say you feel it right there. Yeah.
Because that guy had us. He could have slipped his cuffs and shot both of us in the head, and we would have been out. We'd been done.
Yep.
And like, it's one thing to miss some like nail clippers or to miss like a lighter or something like that when you're like searching. And then we're talking about search incident to arrest. You're arresting this person, and you're going to be putting them in the back of your patrol car, and you're transporting them somewhere. And in a frisk, you really should be able to get a firearm just in a frisk, which again is a cursory search of a person for weapons.
That's what they're for.
Hands don't go in things unless you have a reason to be going in there. Not even fingertips. Nothing goes in anything. You can, and this doesn't happen. Because they always
I like to use the backside.
yeah, right here,
Yeah.
right here. Do this.
Yeah.
There was a video. I'm
Yep.
bummed I can't find it, but there was a video of this officer. This is a rookie doing a search on some chick, and like his like FTO stopped him. He was like, "Go sit in the car. You're like molesting this lady. Chill." And like she was clearly upset, which I don't blame her if I was getting groped, and I like her husband was about to like fight somebody, which I completely. If somebody was grabbing at my wife, I'd be pissed too.
Oh yeah.
It was not a good look, and so also practice that. If honestly, if you want to learn good search techniques on a person, go talk to his jailer. I'm gonna be honest, jailers actually did a really good job. It's because that's literally all they do, is they're doing searches after patrols doing, and they've pulled knives off people in the jail. I remember that happening because we got the memo because somebody got written up for it or whatever. But they pulled like a kitchen knife. It's like a big one off of somebody in the jail, and that's a big boo boo. And they act like we all did it. And I was like, bro, it's one person. I can't just call them out.
Yeah. Everyone's fault.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring this up. I think this doesn't look like. Is this America?
No,
it's
they're,
like-
they're driving on the wrong side of the road here.
Yeah. Wrong side of the road.
So I can't make this full screen. So I'm sorry, guys. You're gonna have to just bear with me here.
This police officer.
And so there is, I'm assuming, some sort of pursuit that's going on. I just don't see the pursuit vehicle.
It's the bicycle chasing.
Look at this guy.
On a motorcycle. Oh my gosh.
This guy gets absolutely finessed. I ain't
Why
even.
would you try to spike a motorcycle?
That's not in the U.S. Look at the plates. I just look at the plates. That's not U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
I
doesn't give him an excuse to be dumb.
do like this
Yeah.
run. I do like this run. I don't think it's bad time. Now I'm with you. Spike stripping a bike's kind of a death sentence. Like I don't know. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's like deadly force. You know, like it would be like pitting a motorcycle. To be honest, I mean, like that's
Yeah.
pitting a car is already like a pretty serious thing, and pitting a motorcycle's you're really putting that person at a lot of risk. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they got different rules over there, and they're not allowed to carry guns. So what can they do? It's the UK. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's a wild. Anyways, I thought that clip was hilarious. I didn't have any problem with his timing, but I do think he got finessed by an absolute
he got finessed.
pro.
You know what's funny though is I was actually talking to a couple of English police officers. I went to a SWAT conference and I had an opportunity to sit with the ones that shot the London Bridge stabbers.
No way.
These guys were the team that took them out. What was interesting is they said that a lot of their precincts now are going armed. So the days of English bobbies not being armed it's slowly going away. It's just a matter of time before they become like the U.S.
And I bet a lot of, even at the very minimum, if they don't just have a bigger proliferation or like a larger proliferation of having some of them being armed, and it's just really like the reason you're armed is for that like 0.5 percentile of calls that you're going to work. It's not like literally while on duty in uniform, it was like 1,000th of a percentile that I spent with my gun out of the holster, if that. You know, I probably spent more time press checking my gun before shift than I did actually using it as far as like pointing it at stuff. You know, and it was part of my morning routine.
Usually when I just go to the bathroom.
You know what I mean? He just, yeah. He's dry firing in the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's
Out you stool.
Anyways,
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah, for legal reasons. So, anyways, shout out to Police Activity. It's a really cool YouTube channel. Not to give shout outs to other YouTube channels, but they are a really good one. They are giving us this gem here. So we have Harry Potter here, apparently. That this is actually gasoline or some sort of lighter fluid. I thought it was water at first when I was looking up clips for this, but no. This
It reminds me of the bad guys from the Omega Man.
Oh yeah,
lighting the establishment on fire.
Yeah. And at first I was like, "Oh, this brick's not going to catch on fire," but it dawned on me that he probably did it from the inside coming out. And I guess it's like a little butane torch he's got in his hand. I don't know. This guy's been watching way too much.
He's like walking in it.
He deserves to light himself on fire.
I wish.
Like, what a nerd.
Oh, he did.
He said,
What a nerd.
he did his little incantate. So anyways,
Somebody started a fire. Keep one fresh. I'm on scene.
so this truck here is actually an unmarked unit. This is a marked
There's a lot
unit.
of fire. I'm trying to catch up to the car. It's a gray Buick. They just want to know it's bound on Ruby.
There it is.
North on Ruby.
Yeah, shout out to this guy's radio traffic too.
Yeah.
Nice and calm. I don't. A lot of people don't appreciate how hectic it is inside of a police car when you're getting into a pursuit. Look at this man's like MDC. Like you have zero. Like literally your visibility is like this. You have like you have your directional light, like your little spotlight that's covering up this. You have your MDC that's covering up like this. You have like your regular rear view mirror that everyone else has here, and then you'll have like your fucking dash cam that's up here. There's not a lot of visibility, and then your blind spots are awful. Because you have your
you have the cage.
You have your cage.
Yeah.
If you have like the really nice cars, you also have bars on your back windows so that they can get kicked out. And so you're going 90 in a 30 or 140 in a 70 or whatever it is with like negative visibility. And it's kind of why we have the wee woos and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is one of the most underappreciated things about what we have to do. Emergency vehicle driving was the most badass thing ever. I will say, if there's one thing I do miss about policing, it was getting to do this. But it was the most sketchy feeling. Like, and this is including building searches. This is including uses of forces. This felt the dumbest at times because you're like, this is dumb. This is really stupid. I'm gonna die. Anyway, shout out to this guy for driving like an absolute animal.
Stop out, lights out, going wrong traffic.
Also, could he have asked for a better, like, set of circumstances for a pursuit?
It's a,
This is beautiful.
Oh,
Malibu,
perfect.
no plate.
Perfect environment.
Chevy Malibu, no plate. Do you have a color?
So this would have also been a write-up in my driving on the opposite side of traffic. Even if the suspect does it, we weren't allowed to do it. Or it's like automatic. You could have saved the city from a nuke, and they wouldn't have cared. They would have written you up after the fact.
Gonna be green color, and we're on prospect right now.
But he's a badass, and he doesn't care, so that's why he's still doing it. Hell yeah. My man.
We like to say he's not driving with due regard.
And this, boys and girls,
Speed is 49. We're on prospect.
is when you start to learn what a commercial-grade vehicle performs when you try to do too much with it.
We're on prospect, still westbound. Let me have all the units come from the other side. They lit up the whole place on fire. Have FD response, please.
He's already on the way.
Now notice, though the car got
nice.
Yeah, no. Hey, you got a really nice shot of his face here, Harry Potter. But though he did ram him with a vehicle, he's trying to reverse and get away from him. So this is not the same set of circumstances as the first video we watched, where it's like a constant trying to nail him with a vehicle.
You're in my car. And it's just talking about two different types of cops right now.
That's also what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we call the predator, not the prey kind of guy. There is a different breed. There was a guy, he was a corporal, and he moved to fugitives when I got onto the street, and I listened to a pursuit that he got into, and I was on another side of town, and I couldn't go because I had to be stuck on where I was at. But as I was listening to it, like, I was like, man, I don't know who's in front of him, but, like, God bless him, dude. It's like you have the scariest human being coming after you. There are just some cops that get it. They like hunting people, and they're very good at it. But this guy's fully engaged in this. Also, I'll tell you what, Tahoes are built like tanks. The Tahoes we got issued were pretty badass. I did some really egregious stuff in ours.
Ooh, look at that.
Both of his tires are gone. Hell yeah. Good pit.
3, I'm ramming him.
He's already dead.
3, okay, ramming the vehicle.
That was not a good pit. Yeah, all of that's done.
See, that's deadly force for us.
I believe it. Look at this jog. We get some body cam. A shout out to this guy for going.
We're running westbound through the yards. Stop now!
Look at this. No fence. No, nothing's getting in this man's way. I respect his game.
Shot on a Nokia.
Get on the ground!
The one good thing I could say about Axon is their body cams don't look like that.
That's true. I had Motorola's. They look nice. We had full 1080p.
Once again, someone look at it. Help!
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna watch.
Help!
Here we are.
I'm gonna give you some light so you can see where his hands are.
Is this what the weapon mounted light?
Whatever happened to Dogpile on the Rabbit?
Is this what the weapon mounted light? You're an asshole.
Yep.
You're the reason why I don't have weapon mounted. My old department didn't have them for the long. I don't know. I think they still don't have them on pistols because of this asshole.
Yep.
Fuck you, dude. Why are you illuminating it with?
Like, turn the lights off.
It's whatever, man.
Got nothing to say about that guy.
Go back in your car.
Did he tell him to go back in his car? I think even that guy knows he's in trouble. He's like, get the hell out of here with that trash.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I know a few of those guys that work with me.
Yeah. A shout out to you for being there, my dude. He's involved in this arrest. Also, not a single 10-9 from dispatch. Shout out to whoever. Who's this department? Who's this department? Hold on. Does it give us some info here? Dearborn, Michigan. So Dearborn Police Department, shout out to their dispatch for not 10-9ing this guy. Y'all are the real MVP.
You know what, though? These guys are busy. You know, these guys see a lot of crap.
Well, you notice how quickly backup got there super fast. The officer that was involved in it the whole time, super in control. The pit was a little sketch. But outside of that, I mean, what more do you want out of an officer? To not only see it, he articulated the offense as to why he was pursuing while he was doing it. And the second the guy bailed, he wasn't like, oh, he's running. Like, he's like on the ground running. I got one running westbound. He knew where he was going. He was... Shout out for catching Harry Potter.
Yeah.
At Butthole
That
trying to burn that store. That's what I meant. It was I knew you'd enjoy this one. So, arson's, I'm pretty sure, a felony everywhere.
Yeah.
And even if it's like for us, like property damage was criminal mischief, even if it was criminal mischief, that's enough like property damage to rise to the occasion of a felony. So that'll authorize a pursuit in most places. And then even then, like you have some asshole burning stores, like go get them.
Yeah, this one, I'm with you. I have as a supervisor, I'd have no problem with the chase because we have to get this.
Are you not high-fiving this guy though? You know what I mean? Now, are we all writing up Mr. Point Your Rifle?
I'm sending him back to the academy.
Now I'll do the admin poke part. I'll be like, what were you doing with your gun out and not helping? You know, like...
and again, it's not the rifle being out that I have an issue with, and I don't even have an issue with the light being on there. I am all for equipment, but you have two officers on the guy, right? And they're putting him into a handcuffing situation, and you decide, oh, I need to see what's going on. I guess I don't have any other flashlights on my person, but the one on my pokey rifle. I don't know, man. That made me kind of salty. And my nicest, brightest flashlight technically was on my rifle because I needed it to go reach out and touch somebody. But I had like 3 other flashlights on me that weren't that one. And I had a sling. God invented slings. And if I needed to go hands-on, you cinch the sling, you put the thing either in front of you or behind you, and you went hands-on and went and handled business. You didn't go take your rifle off and put it on the ground. And that's a worse write-up, in my opinion. Go straight up abandon your weapon on the ground.
That's one of those ass chewings that you don't wait until you get to the office to do.
You want that one
like
in the street.
Community gets to witness.
Yeah. Anyways, so that was I'm glad I found that one. It was a really good one. Shout out to Police Activity for that. Go give them a shout out. There's this one. So I'll give you guys some background to this. They call. Let's see. Does it give us call text here? Your mom is scaring the little girl. Okay, I'm arriving soon. Are you coming home? Did they say why? Tiffany officer's coming. She tried throwing a knife. Hot water now. She's trying to throw hot water. Give us anything else here? I don't know. Because you would get some of these updates in call text as you were driving out there. As you're getting dispatched to a call, typically, at least in my department, is how it would work. Especially if it was a hot call, like a priority, that this would be considered a emergency call.
Yeah.
There's a weapon involved, and there's a potential victim here. They would be giving us and dictating us the details. So now somebody has to transpose this, so the call taker has to then put this into call text, and then dispatch, because I shouldn't have to be reading this while I'm driving, will then dictate to me this over the radio, specifically to me, so I can hear some of this. So I'm trying to see if he got anything in here that kind of justifies how this goes. Yes, I'm with my child. I believe so. Hitting the floor, saying she's going to kill me. She threatened to kill somebody, apparently.
Police department, can you guys step out for me?
Looks like a duplex or something.
Please be very careful. Set it down! No, set it down now! Back up! Back up! Drop!
So, I'm stopping it here for a very important reason. So this is, I'm okay with this. If I see somebody with a weapon, I have a weapon. It's a monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. I have zero issue with him drawing a weapon. I have some issue if he's here by himself doing this, because you already have call text indicating that you have an armed person. So what the hell are you doing there by yourself? Unless there was some exigency to the situation.
Like if she stabbed the family
That's
member.
what I'm saying. If there's an active stabbing in progress, fine. Go make scene by yourself and go be a hero. I get it. If it's on your conscience and you think you have the skills to go handle the situation, go knock it out and go be. We had the same protocol for like an active shooter. Our protocol was you go. You didn't stage or wait.
Yeah.
You went.
First one there is in the building.
Sure. And he says, worst case scenario, we have to step over your body, so don't die. That's literally what they would say. Just kill him first, and then we won't have to walk over you. But our job is to be an advocate for the community. When there's violence occurring, our job is to, even at the punishment of our own lives, try to do something to stop it. That being said, if you're on the line and they're saying that there's threats happening, if it's happening and it's not happening, like there's a potential emergency situation. And again, there's also call text, and it's like maybe 20% accurate 9 times out of 10. Like it is never, call text is always like she has a knife and she's in the kitchen. Okay, what's illegal about having a knife in the kitchen and saying, I mean, how many times have you been threatened, Chris, by saying some stupid ass remark during Thanksgiving by a woman in the kitchen with a knife saying, Chris, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't get out of this damn kitchen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that domestic violence? Is that going to raise to the occasion of, no, I mean, this is not a police matter, but some people will call over that.
Yeah, they will.
And you're going to have to, and we'll have to go and do the whole investigation or whatever. And then they'll explain it and I'll be like, yeah, that's not an offense. Get the hell out of here. I'm not seizing their knife.
Keep your fucking hands.
That's what I'm saying.
Out
Yeah,
of the food.
yeah, exactly. So I don't have a problem with him drawing down. I do have a bit of a problem with him being by themselves, unless there's some sort of exigent circumstance that we don't know about. We're not being addressed here.
Well, to defend the officer a little bit on this one. I mean, I don't like the scenario, but 2 women just walked out. So
yes.
We don't know what happened the first 30 seconds. Yep. We don't know if there was some type of verbal argument where he can hear them. What this lady was doing, they just walked out. They didn't say too much to them except whatever those comments were in that point in time to present it with this. So I got to at least give it to him, like you're saying, Josh. I got to at least give it to him. Hey, he sees a knife, he has to draw his weapon because he does have to protect himself. And the fact that these women just walked out, so we still don't, and we also don't know if there's anybody left inside the house.
That was the other thing I was going to raise as far as a question would the daughter being threatened, was that the chick that just walked out, or is there a daughter that's still currently in there? Now, if this is a hostage situation, this guy owns this door. He's not moving from this door. He cannot give up the ground that he has won, if that makes any sense, because he has to advocate for that third party. And we don't know that. And nor were there questions, I think enough questions asked on that. Did we lose Chris?
I think we did.
Oh, he's taking a tinkle break, boys and girls.
I don't like how close he is. I hope he backpedals.
Well, it wasn't in the. He would have to backpedal to his right because it's like, I don't know if you can see it when he walks right up. You can kind of see it here.
Oh, it's like a narrow.
It's like a duplex. These suck a ton.
Oh,
so like it's like the fatalist of funnels. He's already technically standing in one. This might be, and I'll make it full screen for you guys. This might be a closet, like an exterior closet for like, you see this a lot of times in apartments. But me seeing a door here makes me believe it's more like a duplex, or he's already inside the structure of wherever they're at, and that this is a separate door. Me seeing
I mean, in my opinion, like if I was en route and one of my guys was like, she's got a knife, I got one at gunpoint. First of all, who's left in the house?
Yep.
If it's just her, close the door and get back.
Yeah.
Just barricade and call SWAT.
Sure. And so there's a lot of food for thought here.
Yeah.
I will also say this. If you have people with either with special needs, like they're on the autism spectrum, or there's a language barrier between them and emergency services, you need to be an advocate for those people, because you do not know the competency of that officer, nor can you expect that officer to be fluent in Vietnamese, Chinese, whatever, Arabic. And if you realize that officer is yelling in English to someone that probably, and this is the instance here, this person's Spanish speaking only, start yelling in Spanish on what he's saying so they can understand what's going on in this instance, because you can help the person you're trying to advocate for a lot more without encroaching on the officer to make that officer feel uncomfortable. Man, you can kind of see this pathway here. This looks like this is like the driveway, and this is the front door.
Set it down! No. Set it down now! Back up! Back up!
Although with guns, kind of universal language.
Gun is a pretty, she should understand why he's pointing a gun at him. Yeah. And again, there could be mental disability occurring here. She could have dementia. There's so many things that could be happening here. That being said, and somebody might say, well, she's only 75 years old. Brad, 75 years old or not, man, a knife is a knife, dude. I would not want to go take my chances that this isn't super hardcore machete mom here, like machete grandma. They can cut your hand off. Yeah, producer Juan's right too. I do think it's also weird how slow they were to get out and how chill they were about her having the two knives.
This happens at least once a week.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And again, it's hard to say in the moment. And again, if I was surprised by somebody having two knives on their persons, and then he's stuck, especially by himself, he's trying to control the people to his right and then handle the situation that's in front of him. But
drop the knife! No. Okay, back up! Back up now! Drop the knife! Drop the fucking knife! Drop the knife! Do it now! Drop the...
Yeah, so the other thing I want to kind of get at, and this is not a dig on the officer, but it's just food for thought for everybody. If you've given a command more than 3 times and have not got compliance, either change the command or try to figure out whether or not they can understand you or not. We had this instance one time. We had somebody that was deaf that matched the description of a robbery suspect that we had. And we got behind them and we threw on our rears, but not our forward flashing lights, so they didn't realize because we were blocking traffic. And we got on a bullhorn, and we were like yelling at them, and they kept walking. And eventually, we got out of the car and like ran up to them. And the second I touched them, they like flinched and freaked out. And I thought that they were resisting the whole nine. So we were very lucky that they figured out way quicker than we did that we were the off police, so they complied or whatever. It didn't turn into body slamming or anything crazy like that, because then I would have body slammed a deaf person. And I didn't realize that they couldn't hear. And it was something as simple as that. Now, again, there's plenty of situations where they just ignore you, and it turns into they're just trying to lure you in so they can shoot you in the face. But hence the world that police officers have to live in. It's a very complicated one.
Yep.
But it's something I like to reiterate this all the time in these situations. If you're failing to communicate, try to just think about having a 3-try limit for stuff. And then try a different approach to it. That helps a ton in de-escalation. That helps a ton in just in investigations and interrogations and stuff like that. Don't keep beating the same path. Try to do something different.
Broken record syndrome.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, Juan, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that one.
Fucking knife! Drop the fucking knife! Do it now! Drop the fucking knife! Drop the...
So, and again, it's like the 6th time he said it. One of the things that we had talked about before was also kicking this door shut. We don't know that there's not another person in there. That's not something that's been asked in this instance, or these ladies aren't helping him figure out. But the just simply shutting, I know it's only a screen door, but just simply shutting this gives you a barrier to kind of have a nice bit of, it buys you time is what it does, so that you don't have to elevate to deadly force. The other thing is, I mean, unless she's threatened somebody, right? It's not illegal to have knives in your hands in your house. And it's one of the things that Chris and I were talking about before we got on this podcast. It's also not illegal to be crazy. And if they weren't as concerned about it, or nobody got injured before we got there, like, what law enforcement action are we really taking here? And this is, and I'm saying this as an advocate for law enforcement of like, why are we allowing ourselves to be placed in this situation? Now, they called us. The family wanted police here. I don't know why, but they did. As opposed to mental health services and XYZ, APS, or whatever it is.
Knife, do it now! Put him on the ground! Put him on the ground! Put it down now! Put it down! Put the...
So anyways, he ends up shooting the lady. I don't want to get us demonetized here, but at that point, she takes a step, I'm guessing, towards that threshold, and he goes ahead and shoots her. The real reason why I think this is probably the most in the gray shoot situation that we have here is only because we don't know enough of the circumstances that led up to getting here. And how much information was this officer given? How much does the language barrier have to play into the situation? But I always like to bring up about this is what led to this. And I'm not talking about the officer altercation. Like, how does grandma here get into a situation where normal behavior for her at 75 is grabbing knives and walking around the house, threatening people? And that how is it normal to call law enforcement to try to fix what apparently to them is just trying to calm her down? A lot of times I get frustrated that there's not family advocates, as in like family members that are advocating on her behalf, medical professionals, mental health professionals, and things of that nature. Law enforcement, we oftentimes deal with violent crime, right? Especially depending on where you work or whatever, but we arrest people, right? We protect people. We are also kind of the hammer when it comes to the world's problems. We're trained for that. We're the very unique position that if the city deems that somebody has to go get shot, technically the police are the ones to do it. It sounds weird, and that sounds very like icky from a civilian perspective, but if there was a terrorist, right, and this is the reason why I'm bringing this up, is if and I grew up as a millennial, so Al-Qaeda was my terrorist group, right? So if Al-Qaeda is coming to your city and going to go hurt people, what do you want the police to do to Al-Qaeda, right? Or ISIS or whatever it is now. you want them to de-escalate it. You know, what do you want to happen in that specific instance? Well, you want the law enforcement to go do that. Now, there's plenty of other functions of law enforcement as far as keeping our roads safe and advocating for victims of domestic violence, advocating for children that are being victimized and all this kind of stuff, and ultimately enforcing the laws that we have codified and voluntarily placed ourselves under as a social contract. But there's so many other steps that can take into place, specifically when it comes to mental health, that could avoid this from happening. And I get very frustrated when they put all of the blame at the foot of the officer that stuck with this very short straw, as opposed to trying to take portions of that blame to Adult Protective Services, the family that was there. There's so many other instances where she could have been helped but wasn't, and it escalated toward them calling the only thing that they thought could help, and that was 911. And EMS isn't going to come near this lady if she's got 2 knives in her hand, so police have to be there. And so it is what it is, unfortunately. But that's what sucks about these situations. And what a lot of people overlook in these situations is that oftentimes mental health's much more prevalent of an issue. And when law enforcement gets involved, if you're going to do things that are going to goat officers into using force is going to get used. And you can't... What were you going to say?
I was going to say, and the sucky part, Josh, the second part about this is, like you said, this was not a situation he made per se.
Nope.
He responded to a call for service. We're not given a lot of facts, but what a lot of people don't also realize, though, too, is the aftermath of this, is because I'll give you the administrative part of this. On the administrative part of this officer, after he shoots and obviously kills her, he already knows that his career is now going to be raked over the coals.
Oh, yeah.
He knows, and that's the other part. Not only, I mean, we could separate this on two psychological routes. The first one is this the psychological trauma of killing someone?
Sure.
I don't believe, as much as there are people believe that law enforcement wakes up with the goal to kill somebody. Is this the stupidest thing I've ever heard? No officer wakes up and thinks to myself, this is the day, that I'm going to go kill someone. So he's going to have to live with that. He's going to have to live with the fact that could he have done something differently? He killed a grandma, killed a female. What more? Should he have let himself get stabbed first? All of those things. So he has to live with that part. And that guilt part, if there is any guilt, he's going to have to come to peace with that. And if he doesn't, he's going to be a psychological mess later on down the line. But now the other part is the administrative part. You're talking about the shoot teams are now going to come in, and he's going to be a suspect. He's a suspect in a homicide. And he's going to be, unfortunately, some agencies treat you like a suspect.
Yep.
They're not like, hey, man, are you okay? They immediately put you off to, they take you to the station. They put you away from everybody. You're not allowed to talk to anybody except your attorney. They come and they disarm you. They take your weapon because it's now going to go to ballistics. And that's fine. But now you're talking about, this is not going to be anything that's going to be solved in the next couple of weeks. You're talking months, if not years, until he finally gets that clearance letter from the DA saying everything was done right. And once that happens, now he has to deal with the civil lawsuit from the family.
Yep.
And depending if his city is going to pick up the cost for his attorney, he may be on the hook for his own legal fees and all this type of stuff. And it's just, now, is he going to lose his whole livelihood? Is he going to even be able to go back to work again? Is it a small community where everyone knows him? It's just, there's so much more trauma that even happens in the aftermath. And on top of it, everyone's life changed.
Yep.
His life changed and the family's life changed.
I tell you what, and I was very fortunate to walk away from a handful of situations that were almost identical to this one. And just being in the moment at gunpoint with somebody, and I'm talking, I have pulled all of the slack out of my trigger, like all the prep out of the trigger, and I'm like on the wall, pointing it at someone's forehead practically because they're, 10 feet away from me or whatever. And I'm sitting here trying to put stuff in front of me or back up or whatever. Just that alone is traumatic enough. I can't imagine. I legitimately, for months afterwards, and even now that I've been out, I just passed a year of being out, I still periodically remember stuff like that. Sometimes even watching these. Even the close calls mess with you, if that makes any sense. And so even just the cumulative effect of doing this all the time, and especially if you work in a really bad area, you do this all the time. It's just very different. I think a lot of people undervalue how hard this is. In my personal opinion on the human soul, we're not meant for violence. We're really not. I think a lot of people like to get macho and think that they're alpha predators and all this kind of stuff, but we're not meant for that.
Yep.
If you are, you're kind of a sociopath in my personal
Right.
opinion. And I totally get being prepared for it. I totally understand like staying fit and being prepared and having the tools. I'm all for all of that. But the actual doing of it, there's not a single person. You can name them. Tim Kennedy, Chris Kyle, all the popular guys that you would think are door kickers and awesome. Every single one of them has some level of PTSD due to the violence that they have committed on behalf of the state, effectively. We have all committed some level of violence on behalf of society, and it has a permanent effect on us for the rest of our lives. There's that piece of us that we will never get that existed before you had to do it. And that burden's it's a lot heavier than a lot of people realize. And so I can only imagine. And again, I'm very lucky I never had to shoot anybody, but I can only imagine what that officer has to go through. Good shooter,
The rest of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot, no shoot situations really suck. What's going on, Tilly? Shout out to Ring for having a trash camera here. This is not the only footage we have here. So this situation's a guy with a metal pipe. You're going to get to kind of see he is just totally thrashing something here. We get another perspective here of him. Do we have any audio on this? Let's see. Yeah, he is just super thrashing. He's going full Carrie Underwood on somebody's vehicle here. Or I guess Beyonce for the Zoomers. I don't know if he threatened that person. Anyways, I'm not going to listen to this lady. Or this Axon commercial. I'll be damned on this channel.
Yeah, right.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Get your hands up. Show me your hands. Get ready to tase this guy. Get ready to tase this guy.
So I'm going to pause it right here for a very specific reason. We have multiple officers coming here with tools, which is a good thing, right? This guy, who I'm guessing is the prospective officer here, has already told them, hey, let's get taser ready. It's just putting off getting less lethals prepared by all the other officers that are here. He just left a street. The street means that there's people. If there's people, there's streets and stuff like that. They're trying to block this person from going anywhere past this because he's already obviously fully committed to violence, at least on property. And if call text has indicated that he has a weapon because he's using it to hit stuff, I'm perfectly okay, even though we can't see his hands, that he's drawing a firearm on the guy. At this point, I have zero issue with everything that's happened so far. Do you have anything to add, Chris?
No, I just, like I said, there's a lot going on. Unfortunately, I hear that I don't like that backdrop at all.
I will say that this is, and now that I think about it, as he's walking up, it gets worse. Like I don't know that it gets any better at this point. That being said, this guy is rocking a 2011, probably a like $2,000 or $3,000 handgun.
It's LA.
Oh yeah, it is LA. Can they carry 2011s?
Yeah.
God, y'all are so bougie. Jeez. We felt fancy when we got Gen 5 Glocks. We're like, whoa, you're fancy.
We're fancy, yes.
With no weapon-mounted light in a Serpa holster. We were super fancy.
Hey, back up. Stop. Back up. Stop. You're going to get tased. It's going to hurt.
I just realized what he said. You're gonna get tased and it's gonna hurt. That's actually pretty good. That's actually a pretty good idea. Like to reemphasize, it's not gonna tickle.
So what's interesting here is, just so you know, from from knowing, is the guy on the left with the taser. He's some type of special unit because patrol does not wear patches.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
So that's a special unit right there. I can't see what. There's no middle emblem, so it's a little interesting, yeah. But LAPD regular patrol has no patches.
Interesting, bro. He's got like a
patrol.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say the guy with the gun is a patrol officer. That one, because that's a class B uniform right there.
I was gonna say with the sleeves.
Yeah.
Show me your hands and you get tased right now. Back up. Show me your hands.
Bro, look at this leather gear. Oh. Anyways,
Shiny,
Sorry.
shiny.
These big old buttons here. Oh, even on the keepers, I at least got to have all black leather gear.
Mine are all black. I
Yeah.
got rid of all the bougie metal. So
This is stupid. This is.
I wear nylon.
I would want
they can't.
Kydex.
LAPD can't wear nylon. They're still leather, 100% leather.
Oof.
Yeah, ours. It depended on what it was, but for the most part, it had to be leather. There's more stuff. Goodness. So, if he's armed, right, with something, they don't know what. Maybe it's a knife. Maybe it's a pipe. They're deliberating on what it is. Chris and I were talking about this, and I think Sean, we can take your weight on this also. Any second now, he runs at you. You have to shoot this guy, right? That there's no getting around that.
Oh yeah.
Why are we not just mag dumping with taser cartridges and pepper ball, whatever the hell you have in your OC? I don't care what it is. You should just be annihilating this guy. Why is that not policy? To just say,
I don't know.
Go for it.
I don't know that they want to specify that in policy, because then you get weird. You want policy to be specific, but not specific enough to, because no call is the same, but like that's a very specific policy that was written. Like if you want that to be a policy, this is the reason why they're going to make it a policy.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing this guy gets shot. It's OIS, so yeah, it's he gets shot. But like, yeah, I don't understand. I don't think, and I think it kind of goes into the whole broken record syndrome. Like, hey, maybe this guy will comply. Maybe we won't have to use any force.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Like, just pop them with tasers and
what I was saying from like and I would say from a training standpoint, I don't know, like you said, I don't know that it needs to be codified in policy, but from a training standpoint, if I'm a police department and I know the current culture of how this stuff's going to be viewed, why am I not just gung-ho on, dude, blast this dude with every less lethal? If we know he's armed in any way, shape, or form, don't tell him you're going to tase him. Don't you just blast this guy. With
and I think I saw a beanbag round or a beanbag shotgun on the dude's sling or something.
This guy's
some
got
sort of non-lethal.
Beanbag.
This guy's got
so just
something here. These look like 40 millimeters.
Yeah, he has 40 millimeter.
It'll hurt enough. Here we go. Yeah, he's done.
He's already.
Shots fired. 1985 shots fired.
Also, get hand pieces. I hate
and use
this.
the hand mics.
Jeez, dude.
Alec, so here's the thing. Out here in Southern California, we don't really have a lot of guys don't use the mic.
Can you explain why? On camera right now. On timestamp this. Is somebody watching this? Timestamp this right now, because I want this explanation right now from somebody from that decrepit place to explain to me why the hell every time I see something from LA.
We're a lot of us, me included, we're still with our portables. We don't want to add that attachment onto our mics. I don't know. It's an old school mentality.
Hey, do you guys have pagers or have do you?
Do you guys like have to stop by the call box every now and then to make sure you don't have any pending calls?
What's funny, so a lot of the young kids are going to the mic, to the the lapel mic or a lot of the young. But as far as anybody who's been in law enforcement, I'm going to say at least 10 years.
Sure.
No, they don't have the mic attachments. Everything is still.
And they
the radio.
won't do it.
They won't do it. They're there. We can use them, but they just don't do them.
If
policy.
If your department is providing them, I legitimately believe this. And only because how many of these damn things I've had to watch, where if they weren't spending so much time fumbling with their shit, they could have been utilizing other resources and not shooting people in the street. I legitimately, I would have made it policy. If I was God, I would have made it policy a long time ago.
I wish I could tell you, but you'll see LA cops from all over with no lapel mics.
Well, and it's not a bad thing because like, and this is a bad thing, but I'm saying like learning if they're modeling their behavior off of experienced officers, it makes sense why you'll see a lot of younger officers also not doing it. Because there was a lot of stuff that you pick up from these older officers. You sit there and say, oh, well, they do their equipment this way or they do whatever. But
and you want to fit in.
But like...
Yeah. But I will say this. And looking at this, here's what I'm really just... Well, there's a couple... Here's a bad thing about LA. LA, these guys are up against so much. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm very surprised they use force, lethal force on this guy. And the reason why is just with our DA number one, I would have anticipated. You saw a beanbag shotgun coming up. You got the 40 millimeter there. You had a taser off to the right. I would have expected one of these guys, especially the guy with the 40. He should have just dumped them.
That's what
Unfortunately,
I'm saying.
A lot of times, I don't say a lot of times. That's the wrong thing for me to say. Oftentimes, officers are waiting for their sergeants to get there because they haven't been empowered to do it themselves, and that's the unfortunate part. Like my agency. We expect you to. We expect you. You know what? Until the sergeant gets on the scene, you're the sergeant on the scene.
Yeah.
You're the
incident commander. That's how it should be.
Yep.
You take control.
Yeah.
And obviously here, I don't know. Like I said, it's just sad to see that with all that less lethal, that wasn't used first. Yeah. It just sucks.
Yeah. We model our policies off the FEMA incident command structure. And it's the first person there pretty much has the power of the chief at that point.
Yeah,
like you're the incident commander, and that's your scene.
So there's a really interesting, and maybe it's a cultural thing too. I think within police. Now, part of it's by design. Like you'll have police departments that are very much like you don't breathe without a sergeant present, which I think is stupid. You need You need to raise your hiring standards if you cannot, after all the training that you allegedly gave them to bless them to be a police officer, if they can't come to a scene and handle a call, what the fuck are they doing with a uniform on? But specifically. In Texas, I don't know if it's part of the mythos or whatever it is, but there's like a lawman like legend in Texas where like and it was kind of an interesting. I was talking to somebody about this the other day that like while I was a police officer in Texas, there was kind of a cool mantra to be like I'm a cop. I'm like Walker, Texas Ranger, but I'm a municipal cop, you know. But there's this idea, and they teach you this from the get-go. You're in charge. Everywhere you go, you're in charge. They don't care. They don't care the president's there. It's your scene. And they say I don't care unless someone that's got more shit on their sleeve than you shows up. It's yours. It's not your backups. And even then, like as a backup officer, you don't do shit unless that primary officer tells you to do something. Now, if
you don't need stripes to be the boss.
That's what we're getting at. It's like be accountable for that situation because it's yours and own that situation. And we were taught that. I mean, from academy all the way up, and so
because you're going to court.
That's at the end of the day you're going to wear.
I'm not going to court.
You got to write it.
Yeah,
you have to write it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to court.
And
I'm not spending an hour in the parking lot writing that report. You're doing it.
Yeah, and so it was an interesting. Like I was very much, or my police experience was born in that culture. Of it's going to be yours, and if you're going to wear it, you might as well take it. You might as well do everything that has to deal with that. Make the decision and be prepared to own it because you will. And so it's an interesting. The only time I was ever speaking to a supervisor was after everything was kind of already said and done, or if I had a situation that was contained, and I wanted some advice on what to do next, or I needed approval because, like I said, if I'm initiating a pursuit, I would be articulating over the radio, "Hey, this is what I got. You know, I have a possible DWI. These are my DWI factors." And I'd have to wait. I mean, technically, I can continue to chase this guy until a supervisor's like, "No, get the hell out of here, scrub," terminate or whatever. But it's ultimately like you're still acting. You're not waiting for permission, and you really have to. There was an interesting quote, and this is a shout out to the military guys. They were talking about the American military versus other national militaries, and there were some French guys in Afghanistan that talked about. The Marines specifically, and they said that you don't want to shoot officers for American militaries. They said, why? He goes, because those are the only people keeping you safe. He says if you shoot their officer, they have no one to tell them not to do stuff. Basically,
we don't give a shit.
And
we don't give a shit because it's a cool thing because like officers are bound by a separate set of rules.
Yep.
And like I swear my oath of enlistment, right? And they get sworn in as a commissioned officer.
Yeah.
So it's like if I commit war crimes,
hey man, I was doing what I was supposed to do. Yeah.
If an officer commits war crimes, dude, Geneva.
Yeah, the whole nine. So it was an interesting. It was an interesting because they said you shoot an officer in the French military and they sit there. He says they'll starve to death. The enlisted guys will because they're designed to wait and be told what to do. They said the same thing about British officers and stuff like that. That they don't teach them to be independent thinkers, not thinkers, but to act independently. And to a certain extent, obviously, there's a command structure and all that kind of stuff. But that it was a very uniquely American thing within our military structure to say, hey, fuck it, go be an absolute savage. And the officers are really just designed to sit there and make it organized. You know?
Pretty much.
And
our expeditionary units that I'm like on my side of the but like our expeditionary units that we have that go out and like hunt pirates and protect the civilian ships and all that stuff. There's no officers. The officers aren't there.
Yeah.
Like it's us. There's no officers. So like probably don't mess with them.
So and I really do believe that police departments by nature have to be that way because ultimately you're handling that call. And especially in a city like LA, and again, even in the city I worked in, there could be 50 calls happening. These are priority calls. It's not like a traffic stop. This is like a domestic, a shooting, all of this kind of stuff could all be happening at one time. So we don't have supervisors available to go and decide what's going to happen and all these things. I can't ask the chief, you know, on my one random call in the middle of nowhere. And it could be a shooting in progress. But there's probably 5 happening within the city, so they're not all going to the whole city's not going to stop and help me. You know, it's me and whoever I got on scene with me to go handle up. And so it's an interesting...
And I mean, like, Chris, be honest, how much time do you spend in the car per shift?
Me?
Yeah.
As a lieutenant?
Yeah.
As a lieutenant? I'm lucky in a 12.5-hour shift if I'm out there maybe an hour.
Wow.
Exactly.
1 hour.
Yeah. But
and like that's not the shit on command structure. It's just the way that the job is.
Yeah.
Like it's just concreting the point that officers need.
They frown on it, though.
Autonomy.
Well, the problem is yes, absolutely. They frown on what's the best way to say it? See, if I was a chief, I would not frown on my lieutenants going out and going 10-8 to see what's going on. I don't want them to get involved. I just want them to go out there and see what's going on. So they remember that there are certain things happening that need to be handled. And here's a prime example. A month ago, I was the last person in the station, and my sergeant is requesting air for the pepper ball because they had utilized all their air on a containment going on, or on a guy who was armed with a hammer. Long story short, I show up with the canister, and the sergeant comes up to me and he says, "Hey, this is what we have planned. What we have planned going on." And I'm like, "Okay, do it. You don't tell me. Just get your plan going. I was just here to bring you the tank, and now that I'm here, I'm going to watch this shit, you know." And they did. They pepperballed the guy. They tased the guy. They used a 40 millimeter. They used a beanbag shotgun. And long story short, they finally had to send the dog in. Dog dragged the guy out, and you know, I was good. You know, I watched everyone, made sure everyone was safe, and then I went back to the station. But yeah, you're lucky in an hour, and that's why everyone needs autonomy. You've got to be able to know that you can do your job, and then you're going to have leaders that are going to defend you for doing your job.
Yep.
Hey,
what's going on, Cheesy Waffle?
Cheesy Waffle.
He says it's the same for FD here. We're trained. I now will say this about fire departments, and I give a ton of shit to FD. However, they're the most cross-certified MFers ever. Like, I will say that from like now normally they're not spending too much time putting out fires. However, the ability
mostly playing Xbox.
Yeah. the ability to sometimes, depending on the municipality, to have somebody that's double or even sometimes triple certified to go out there and deal with the structure fire or go provide emergency medical services. There's some where they have county guys that are deputies, EMS, and firefighters. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. Doesn't happen in Texas, but I have seen it happen up north where it's a little more sparsely populated.
Yeah, like we have officers who are volunteer firefighters and full time like deputies and shit up here. So.
And I think slowly, I'd be curious to see what it looks like in the future, like 20 to 50 years out, when we're all old, decrepit, or dead, anyways. But that it doesn't transform into that model where you just like it's a profession that you go after, like not like being an astronaut, but like let's say you wanted to be a first responder, that they end up just having everyone being as crazy, like triple certified. It's like a whole college and it's a whole thing that they might change the American system to be where you're really developing professionals. Like we have something similar with like the Explorers program and stuff like that, but you might have like a more holistic approach towards dealing with emergency calls.
Yep.
But I love Explorers programs.
Yeah. You should get donut operator in here. Yeah, good luck. I wish.
Message him.
Yeah, I want you to ask him.
Yeah.
I messaged him before. The guy has no time for us.
Caden Barkley, I appreciate your confidence in my ability to have that kind of pull on the internet. I do love it, though. Cheesy Waffle, I'm sure saying something super insidious. Let's see. Hunter Academy, we had ICS, cough, cough, Blue Canary. Scrolling up, making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, anyways. Yeah, I end up shooting this guy. So.
Hey, back up. You're gonna get
tased. Tase. I would just be hosing this dude with tasers.
Show me your hands, bro. Show me your hands. You're gonna get tased right now.
Also, like, shout out to this guy with his nice little, like, this is like an Olympic stance here.
Right.
Like, those 22 competition shooters. Oh, you know why? Because he has to keep his second hand ready to use his radio because people in LA have a mental handicap that they don't want to use it. Anyways, I'm done making fun of LA for right now.
They're too prideful to use
It's the way we've
uniform looks stupid.
It's the way we've always done it. We're always gonna do it
that way.
What's funny is, you know what, Josh? There's probably a little bit of truth to that because we don't wear BDU and outer vest uniforms. We're still all in wool uniforms.
God, we had at least polyester.
I can get behind that though.
It looks better, and I will say this:
it looks a whole lot better.
Of all of the, I don't like the New Yorks of the world that they have like Class A's. I think it's stupid. I think wearing a tie is stupid on patrol. Yeah. I think like the big ridiculous like shields that they have on there, I think it's stupid. However,
that big old
yeah. LAPD always looked really sharp. A lot of California agencies. Florida's also got some agencies that look pretty sharp, but they stick with the wool uniforms, and it's like a Class B. It's not Class A's, but they're like a nice Class B uniform. They look pretty nice. Anyways, we'll keep getting to these. Police bodycam footage. Boardington Township. I'm saying this correctly. And
I'm gonna make you feel better, Josh. I'm just gonna do this. Josh, yes, they suck there.
And fuck you, Axon, for being here. I'm going to give it just for being there.
You're going to get a hit put out on you.
I'm good with it. What are they going to do, tase me? What if they don't believe in firearms? Yeah, good luck.
Tase me, bro.
I'm going to wear a heavy jacket and be fine.
Hey, Josh,
I will 70%.
I will say this, though. I made a lot of money off of Axon.
Hey.
I bought Axon stock right before they bought Taser International.
Oh, genius, dude.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh, damn. You're playing 4D chess, dude. Oh, my God. This is why Chris is living in the hills as a celebrity, and I'm over here like some loser trying to make money on YouTube. Chris is over here with us mere mortals. He's like, oh yeah, traded my stocks in Exxon.
It did very well.
I bet it did. I forgot. Yeah, Taser International was their own company for a long time before they got bought out. That was a pretty recent one, wasn't it? I think the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it was within the last 5 years. I remember reading an article that Axon may acquire Taser, and I said, "Fuck it." So
jeez, dude.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm glad he goes. It was nice. But pulls up in his private plane and whatever. Jesus.
Like, fuck you, Elon
Musk. Elon Musk bought Twitter from Chris, not from. Let's see. Police activity, police posts. Hope your healing process. Oh, Cheesy Waffles telling you to. Yeah, we also get it from recommendations. We do get them recommendations. Caden Barkley was asking where we got our footage from. We get it from everywhere. Bro, this guy is super Dewey.
Oh yeah, he is.
How polite. At least he got out of the car.
Is that a department sticker on the back of his truck?
No, this looks like a Philadelphia Phillies sticker.
Jersey registration.
Oh, okay.
Red pickup. Should come back to Silverado.
Okay, so I was a real stickler for the rules. This is an off truck, right? And I don't know that he didn't park his truck, down a whole thing of Jack Daniels, and get hammered after he parked his truck. So how do I know he's DWI? Now, PI is public intoxication, and in Texas, the only thing is you need to be drunk and in a public place and a danger to yourself or others. And sleeping on the roadway is a danger, and I could have articulated that. But I know plenty of DWI officers that are like already shaking their fist at the camera saying, "Josh, you stupid idiot. This is totally DWI. How did he get there?"
There must have been a witness.
Probably. That might be the case. I'd tell that witness to go shut his mouth because I don't want to work at DWI, and I'm just going to take this guy to jail for PI and tow his truck. But it's whatever. We'll keep going. Oh, he like... Did he hit something?
Keys in the middle of the road, cell phone in the middle of the road.
Sorry if that cough was loud, chat. My bad.
Super loud.
Is it?
He coughed too, Chris.
How old are you? Like 5.
I'm like 5. Is that what he said? Have earpieces. I hate okay, if you're gonna have a handpiece, have an earpiece. It makes 0 sense to hear echo. I hate that shit. Anyways. Bro, this guy's hammered.
Pissed on his tire and then took a spill.
Apparently he peed on his tire. That's incredible. It's a Phillies sticker.
Are you out with... I got her on the phone now. She's highly uncooperative. 10-4, yes we are.
Well, you're totally towing this car. Look at this thing. It's all over the road. This is blocking the road.
Yeah, you got it.
PI all day. Did they explain who this is?
I'm sure they find a badge or an ID somewhere.
Yeah, apparently this guy's a cop.
So, Brian, so what's happening now?
Chief.
Is right now you're going to be placed on arrest.
He's the chief. Yeah.
DUI. All right, you're going to go to the hospital, and we're going to do a blood draw.
Me?
All right, there's been several calls, and another caller that saw you get out of the car and walk to the back.
Yeesh.
All right, so this officer's going to hop on the rig with you. You're going to go over to RWJ. I drove somewhere? I don't know. You didn't tell me that. I'm saying that there's been other callers.
Must be a shitty area that EMS is wearing a bulletproof vest.
No kidding,
Right?
dude.
Okay, who was driving?
This was policy during riot season in my city.
Okay.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
Even the boot EMS is wearing a vest. So that was a chief. Shout out. Justice is blind, baby. Don't drive drunk, you idiots. This is great. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Casey White and Vicky, did they get legally married?
No, they had the same last name, but they were never married.
Bro, straight some cousin Arkansas shit going on there. So if you guys don't know, oh man, I need to pull up the news article. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll be right back while you do that.
Was it Casey White.
Casey and Vicky White.
And Vicky. I gotta get you guys pictures of these people. Wedding? What? Anyways, I'll let you guys look at this here. These two people, can y'all see this? Let's see if they can see this.
Two upstanding citizens.
Can they see this? Can I go full screen?
I mean,
this?
I could see it.
Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do.
You could see it.
Go back. Anyways.
Here, let the stream catch up, and I'll tell you if they can see it.
Here. Oh,
yeah, they could see it.
That didn't help.
It's good.
It's
good.
It.
Go back.
So anyways, this chick was a prison guard, right? Or she was a jailer?
She was a deputy.
She was a deputy? I thought she was a
deputy
jailer.
and she was
no,
she was a deputy and she was transporting him somewhere.
That's so much worse.
There's footage of her patrol car. She was putting him in the patrol car and they left and that was it.
So anyways, ding a ding 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 ding. Anyways, she helped him escape. I don't know why they were transporting, but she somehow got herself in the loop to transport old boy here and broke him out of prison that way. And I think they found her patrol car like a couple days ago. And then did she shoot herself?
Yes.
I kind of feel sorry for her a little bit, only because like
I don't.
She's probably a little lonely, like, you know. like
well, I mean, him with the beard looks a little better with the beard.
Oh, we'll give him the beard picture. We'll have him look a little bit better.
He's like a Walmart.
Hey,
a Walmart.
Hey, do you think he backed the blue, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So, anyways, I don't want to laugh too hard.
It's like if they made The Office in Alabama, that'd be him. That'd be Jim.
This would be. Oh my God, that totally would be Alabama Jim. This would be female Dwight. That's incredible. Anyways, if Dwight and Angela had a baby.
Oh my God!
Is this not? This is our new conspiracy theory, bro. It's gonna go. Anyways, so was Jim and Pam's kid a boy or a girl? It was a girl, right?
They had a girl and they had two kids, girl and a boy.
This is Jim and Pam's kid going to prison and getting broken out of prison by Angela and Dwight's.
Well, Dwight and Jim, they did have
Jim.
a special bond.
Yeah, they did. Anyways, she apparently offed herself, which is sad, but she kind of earned it because you don't break people out of prison. That's shitty. We were trusting you to uphold the law, and you betrayed that trust, and you shit on the badge. Don't do that. Pisses us all off.
Well, especially I didn't know she was a deputy.
I thought she was
just
a
badge that stumbled.
Stop.
Dude, I got a story about that.
Okay,
I got a story.
We'll do the story time here in a second. But I thought she was a jailer, and then I thought, okay, well, they could develop a relationship over time. If she's a deputy, that's extra shitty. That means they like fell in love over like pen pals or some shit. That's just
right?
Anyways. Ding 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 ding. It's super creepy or whatever. So this
is gonna be a Netflix show,
dude. Jim and Pam.
She was probably his
Dwight and Angela's
arresting
kids.
officer.
It probably was. I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on there. Where was this out of? What state was this out of?
Great question.
Look it up while we look at this video. So apparently he got in a pursuit in was it Indiana? Oh, I got Ohio, America.
Oh, I guess she was a corrections officer.
Okay, I feel a little better.
Assistant director of the jail.
Oh my God!
I don't know if that's better or worse.
That's getting worse.
That's so much worse.
But at least we can put that off on corrections, right? That's some correction shit, right? That's not an LA
Alabama.
We are different. You are not part of the Thin Blue Line.
This is fugitive Alabama corrections official Vicky White died of suicide in Indiana, coroner's office said.
Oh.
So it came out of Alabama. I guess they found him in Indiana.
So it did come out of Alabama.
Yeah, no, they came out.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was 56 years old.
Jeez, dude.
This only would have been better if it came out of North Carolina.
Dude, you know what? For the purposes of this podcast, this happened in North Carolina. Only in North Carolina. Bro, could they have had more deputies? Or is this probably a fugitives task force? Arrest this guy? Not to get us demonetized, but this guy can totally breathe.
Oh, I think those were marshals.
That makes more sense. There was a ton of them.
All those Ram.
These guys here, these are all
right
probably
there,
marshals.
That's all marshals.
God, they pitted the shit out of this guy. Look at all these Ram trucks.
Yeah, but they're marshals.
Yeah,
they're feds. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Rams are standard issue for government vehicles. Like we have.
Bro, is this not a Dodge commercial?
Yeah.
They look like a bunch of rabid dogs that just killed like a rabbit.
You ever want to know what it feels like to drive a Ram?
Oh my god.
You ever pull a brother wife out of a... You ever pull your cousin's sister's husband out of a...
Oh my god. What, did she shoot herself in the car?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
He's like, baby.
Is that the same dude?
This is the same guy, yeah. Oh, he's missing a
No way that's the same dude.
What does this guy say?
She's worked in a jail for 17 years. She knows what life. She's worked in a jail for 17
Stop the music.
The charges would have been
It's
concerning
royalty
to her
free.
because she's worked in a jail for 17 years. She knows what life is like on the other side of the bars. She knew she would be facing some of that, but I think just as much so, I think Vicky White was probably dreading having to come back and face her family and friends after what she'd done. I think that probably played as much a factor in her decision to end her life as anything.
She's got friends?
She's married to... Oh, shout out. I was talking about these. Y'all have 2011. When you have police departments that have 2011, this is why I have beef. Who's paying for these?
And they don't have hand mics?
Like, who's paying for these? Look at these things.
Oh my god, the staccato is like one of my dream guns.
The taxpayers are.
And this is cheap.
The taxpayers are.
Yeah, bro. But I don't want to hand
your
these.
brick up to your mouth.
I'm just sorry.
I got a Gucci gun, but I can't afford a hand mic.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. What was that? Hold on. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I am so playing whether or not like this.
Got 40 mic mics in the car, but I can't use them without my sergeant's permission. Over.
He's gonna do it just to piss me off. Now for the rest of forever. That's gonna be. So I'm gonna meet this man in person, and he's gonna bring his damn radio and be like, "Oh, hold on, let me call my wife."
You know what? I am so gonna have my thumbnail maker make me a thumbnail like this.
Just
Sergeant,
to be a
can
troll.
I please use my lawn to this guy, please?
Oh my god, that's got to be. If we ever make like avatars for ourselves, yours has got to be doing.
Oh yeah.
That.
Like this.
I will do. I will have my.
It's just Chris with a radio like this.
Anyways, so that's our
with his Gucci gun.
Yeah, with his Gucci.
It's his Gucci gun like this.
$8,000 2011.
Oh man.
Let's see. I'm gonna check the chat and then we can get out of here, and I can keep my promise to Chris of not keeping this thing too long. Let's see. I edit the videos to run like social medias and cops doing cop things. He said link to this is in a server. Link to what? What are you guys talking about? Did I miss something? There's a bunch of stuff I missed. Hold on.
Yeah,
this Katie dude come in.
Producer Juan's taking care of a couple things, it looks like.
Okay. Like Bedford PD. I'm in Texas with the 1911. Man, whatever. Oh, you know what? Who was it? I ran into a guy. I think it was Pantego PD, and he was rocking a really nice 1911. He had like a custom 1911. His was pretty nice. Healing up. I'm making sure I'm not missing anything in this chat. Thank you, Reese, for showing up. Cheesy Waffle for being here. Producer Juan for adding your 2 cents. Thank you, Sergeant George. God bless you for living in California. Napalm Bath is also in California now, apparently. God bless you too, dude.
Yeah, I noticed actually quite a few people from my channel came and visited, so that's cool.
Talib Tilly. Who else am I missing here? I said Napalm Bath.
Fox is here.
Nobody misspelled Sean egregious enough to get my love for it. Alfredo, good to see you.
Somebody did recognize my name as Irish descent.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then Saber Gaming Guides. He was the
first.
first.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that.
Which one? How bad is it here? Sean, there it is. Sheep. So anyways, thank you everybody for joining us on this Officer Breakdown. We break down body camera footage. Thank you, Chris, for being brave enough to come on to one of these. And hopefully we keep you out of trouble, or we just expedite your retirement.
Hey, like I said, there's a lot, when you hit 25 years and the age requirement, there ain't too much they can do to you.
He goes, that knee hurts, Chris.
Chris, when you take your final 10-7, can you make a video of it like this?
I will.
I swear.
You know what, Josh? I'm so gonna fuck with you now.
I'm gonna go protest that. I'm gonna go be out there with all the organizers and everything. I'm gonna make your last. But I'm gonna take time off, go over, figure out what county you're in or whatever, or what your area of responsibility is. I'll make that last shift shitty. I need to speak to a supervisor right now.
Well, he won't have to leave the office.
Oh, it's true. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, just put him on the radio, you little butthole. So. Anyways, thank you everybody that joined us here. I appreciate all of we got a lot of responses to all of this stuff. If you guys are interested and like this channel, go ahead and subscribe if you've made it this far. We do this every single week. On Tuesdays, we have Tactical Tuesdays now. We play some games. We have some new ones that are coming up. We're working out logistics on how to do it. We're going to get some bigger lobbies involved in those. Until then, we got a nice update coming with, I think it's getting delayed, but with Ready or Not, it's about to have like a pretty sick update. I saw the patch notes for it.
Yeah.
Chris, new sub to you guys. Oh, hey, what's going on, Zachary? He subbed to Chris's thing. You should sub to Chris the Cop. If you're part of my tiny audience, you should totally like and subscribe. Us and hit Chris's channel, and hit the bell notification for notifications. When we go live. We have some produced content. We have our end of watch series that'll probably like never end. I think we filmed like 10 of those things. We broke down a bunch of different scenes. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Okay, that's what I thought. What's producer Juan talking about? Oh, he
just wanted to know if we did the Chicago one.
I thought he was
we did.
I thought he was being snarky. That sounds like a snarky.
No, one of the I think Caden, the Caden guy was asking about the Chicago shooting.
Yeah, when this ends, you can look at it. It's at the beginning, I believe. So, anyways, like this is only
the socials.
Yeah. Oh, and
Twitter,
the socials. Yeah.
Instagram.
We have Twitter. We now tweet. We have Instagram and we have TikTok. We have a bunch of stupid admins kits on TikTok, so you can follow us there. And if you really, really like the channel and you want to be part of the conversation on how to contribute to some of this stuff or get invited to do stuff like this, you can join our Discord. To get to our Discord, you have to join us on Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month, and we have varying degrees of that stuff. That gives you special access to stuff that we cannot put on the internet. It's maybe as scandalous as it sounds. And that allows you to kind of contribute to be part of some of our smaller circle and how we discuss how we do all this kind of stuff. Oh yeah,
and the Family Guy episode comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, the Family Guy episode drops tomorrow. I've enjoyed the last couple of ones that we've done for Family Guy.
Yeah,
that's some low hanging fruit, but it's really good. So, Chris, do you have anything you want to tell the audience?
No, I want to say it's been a pleasure being here. And doing this breakdown. It's actually the first break. I don't know if you caught the stream later, but this was my first breakdown. And I think I promised Bill that I'll be here next Thursday as well, since I'll still be on the mend. So I will be here to give. Let me see here. I got my little. I got to give my. I'm going to be giving the admin Pogue perspective. But no, it's been fun and it's been great. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Hold on.
Oh, I guess thank you for writing 4-Man with us
Thanks
today.
for having me.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. I couldn't click it fast enough.